Yeah. I think first of all, appreciate everybody, the fans that came out today. It was a really good turnout. I talked to a group before we started, and a lot of energy in the room. It was fun, and then to come out there and see that, it was a beautiful day, and appreciate everybody coming out for that. And I know 15th practice sometimes, and you're going to have some injuries. We didn't have some of our guys out there, so a lot of guys got some good work today, and I think throughout the spring for us, it was a very positive spring. It was the best spring that we've had since I've been here. I think we did more tackling this spring than we've done at any point in time in the spring practices, as well as in our August camp. We did that on purpose. We wanted to be more physical. We wanted to get more mentally tough in certain situations, I think, and I think we accomplished that. We also found some good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball that. With the addition of some guys that we got brought in here, and then some of the other guys that have been on campus to make plays. So I thought that was good. I really like the development that we have up front with the offensive line. I think that's been really, really good this spring practice. Defensively, we got a lot of guys that are not playing, a lot of guys that are out. I think that hurts those guys, particularly in the back end. And I think that showed at times. I think we held Yasir. He played the first part, then held him out toward the end. So I think the offense had the advantage in a lot of scenarios today as we went out there and started playing. But they still have to go out and make plays. I thought the defense got a couple of interceptions. I think Dorian Jones and Marvin Dallas. I think both of those guys got picks. I think that was good to see on their end. And I think overall we got a lot of good work in and really pleased with where we are. But I know as we move forward. And we've talked about this. We're not done, and what we're going to want to continue to add to this team. We're still recruiting. I don't think recruiting is ever going to stop year round, basically now. And we got a great bunch of guys here today, 2023, 2024. Also, some guys that are looking to transfer as well that are here. So it was a great crowd, and it was good to see all that. Yep. He's just really consistent. I think he's really worked hard. I think the running back room this spring has probably been the most competitive room in our building. I think, Jaw Jordan, who really didn't do much today a little bit, but he had a really good spring early on. Cooley, one of the more improved players, I think, on the team. He was out today. Mitchell's that just steady Eddie, man. He brings it every day. He's our best, probably, pass pro guy as blocker. He showed today he can catch the ball out of the backfield and made some big-time plays there, but he also ran the ball hard. And, I think he's just really, really consistent. And I think that's what you want as in a football player is to be somebody to be consistent. He brings it every day, doesn't say much, and just comes out there and works hard. But I do think having, Tyon and Cooley and Mitch and Jaws, all four of those guys have just helped each other. And I think Coach Sims has done a really good job managing that room and really trying to get the best out of those guys. And then Grant Goodman, man, that guy was a workhorse today. I thought I had to IV him after practice. He went a lot. So it was good to see, and I know he had fun doing that. But I think they just helped each other, really, iron sharpens iron in that room. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, what you like about Tyler Hudson is that he can play any position. He can be outside, he can play inside. He's got good awareness, spatial awareness. He can take off the top, but he also can catch the underneath routes. He can do some of the speed sweep type stuff. He's a good-sized body, so he blocks well. So, yeah, he just brings a great deal of versatility, I think, really more than anything. He's got really good hands. I think the quarterbacks trust him to catch the football, and I think that part's been good. And I think I just think overall he's been a really good addition. And he's a good person as well.
What are some of your overall thoughts for wide receiver room?
Yeah, I think, with Wiggins and Hudson and Tyler Harrell and Marshawn Ford, Amari was dinged up most of spring to this year with the hamstring, and so he didn't get to go much. But I think overall you got Jalen Carter, who's a guy who ended up redshirting last year, who caught a touchdown out here today, 88, and I think we got some good quality players out there that are on the outside. I think those guys are very versatile. I think we got a good mix of some guys that can do things inside and outside. Also some good guys that can come underneath, but also take the top off. So I'm really pleased with that room. I think they're working hard. The thing about those guys is that when this building's open, they're over here getting some work in. And that's the thing about Jay Mitch. I mean, he just walked in. Is that this building's open. He's here. He almost works too much. Like, so we're like, dude, get out of here, man. He's over here just always putting work in. But that's a credit to him, and that's a credit to how hard he works. And that's why he's so consistent in his play, just because of the work ethic that he has.
Scott, both in terms of today and over the course of the spring, what did you see from Malik as a guy in the pocket? What kind of progression did you see there?
Yeah, I think those times today he probably could have taken off and ran. But we really trying to stress, hang in there. Let's try to throw the ball down the field. And I think in order to get him to be able to do that, he's got to do it every day. He's got to get comfortable with it. And I think we've seen that throughout spring. I mean, obviously today is one practice, but we've seen it throughout the whole spring, and I think that'll help. I think we got enough good weapons. We saw today. We threw the ball to the backs. Great things happened. They scored, and so we got to be able to get the ball to the backs, dump it off to the tight ends. All the while we're looking to throw the ball on the outside. Well, sometimes they're going to be covered, and I just don't want him to take off running every time. Like, let's find some other guys that get them the ball, because we know they're playmakers as well. Plus, it's going to take a little bit off him, physically. That's right, no doubt.
But do you hope it lightens his load?
Yeah, and I think that's the thought, So, but I also think he can put pressure on defenses, because there's times last year where I thought once he, broke the pocket, that he just took off. He didn't even look down the field to see what's down there. Man, there's some big plays to be had on that regard. So I think that's going to help us maybe make some big plays that way. But when it's wide open, he's got to go get it, and he still will continue to do that. I just think this spring he proved that he could make that happen by dumping the ball off.
Scott, you were talking about missing some guys on defense today. What did you see from the guys that were out there in terms of building depth?
Yeah.
That kind of gave you some encouragement?
Yeah, I think all spring long, the inside linebacker, Dorian Jones, who had a nice interception today, and he's done that several times throughout the spring period, where he's building. We're getting a lot of depth from him, and he needed to get better in the pass drops. He's pretty good in the run, but in the pass drops where he needs to get better. I think the other guys that have been able to get those reps, that are particularly, Ben Perry's another guy that's got a ton of reps this spring, which is awesome. Marvin Dallas, all these guys that are getting those reps, Alderman, TJ. I mean, there's just a bunch of them that have gotten reps that maybe are going to be 2s and 3s as we head into the fall. But these reps they've gotten this spring is invaluable, because now they feel more comfortable. They feel better about it, even though maybe they give up some plays, but now we can coach off it and make them better. So yeah, I mean, I think hopefully we got a little bit more depth right there. Then when you get back, Monty Montgomery, you get Momo back out there, you get some of these guys that are injured back out there, that's just going to increase the overall depth of your football team.
You mentioned recruiting. I just want to follow on that.
Yeah.
Are you still looking to add somebody to the portal over in that means before camp opens?
Yes, absolutely. Maybe a couple more. So, well, we just want to continue to put some players out on this team that if we need them, then they're going to be ready to play. And as you think about some of the things, and I'm really talking defensively, really, that's what we're talking. When you talk about, defensive backs, because you're in a league now where these teams throw that thing all over the yard. You think about, Pittsburgh, which we got to play next year. You got Virginia, these teams that are throwing out, you better have enough DBs in the back end to be able to cover all these guys. And that's where we don't have the depth, where if you can go get a guy who's played college football, bring him in and let him play somewhere in that defensive backfield, because we got a lot of agility in the back end, meaning they can play nickel, they can play strong, they can play free, they can play corner. I mean, there's a lot of different areas we can put guys in and get 6 DBs on the field if we need to. To me, we got to bring some more guys in order to make that happen. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Hopefully by this summer we'll have some more guys here.
Scott, you got a healthy mix of push in this game between the offensive end. What are some of your thoughts about the overall progression in the trenches on both sides of the line?
Well, it's been something that we know we got to continue to get better at. I think overall, the offensive line has created great depth. Where I've mentioned, I think we've got 9 guys that we feel good about that can go out and play next fall. 9 guys. That's a lot. Usually you have 7. We got at least 9, and so we're happy there. And then we've developed some more depth up front defensively. We are continuing to still look, and if there's another, anybody out there that could be to come help that defensive line to get bigger. The one thing we don't have, we've all talked and everybody's talked about, is the size up front. If we can get another big guy, I think that would be helpful for us. I do think Yaya had a great spring. He's 275 pounds coming off the edge. Ashton has continued to have a great spring. I think those 2 guys are kind of mainstay. Now, what are we getting here in about? I think Caleb Banks is a guy that, He's 300-pounder. That's one of our bigger defensive linemen. He got some really good reps this spring, so he's going to have to play. Detail's another guy that's close to 290. But once you start playing in our league and then you start Kentucky, we talked about how big they are. You have to have some beef in front. I mean, otherwise you get swallowed up. So we know we got to recognize that and go out and find some. Mm-hmm.
How are these guys, I guess, getting a grasp on what you want to run?
Mm-hmm.
They want to play really on both sides.
Yeah.
How's that progression?
Yeah, I mean, you're always working to get better at that. On both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I feel like offensively, where we came off of last year, we kind of picked up where we left off. But I do feel like we've kind of still upgraded in the wide receiver room, and the running backs. When you bring in a tie-in, when you already got Jay Mitch, you already got a Cooley. Those guys can play, and it creates that competition because it makes them all better. And when they get an opportunity to go out and shine, I mean, I feel like where they were at last year and how they played, they're going to be better this year. They're going to be another notch better, just because of experience, but also because every single day they put the work in, competing against their teammates, and I think that's going to make them better. I think again, offense is ahead of the defense right now. We got some guys injured on that side of the ball. We got some more guys that are coming in this summer, so it'll be a different August when we go offense versus defense. I mean, it's going to be very, very competitive, and again, I think that's going to make us collectively as a better football team. They're good. All right, appreciate y'all.